Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show. I'm Brandon, and that's Darren.
I'm Darren.
Today on the show, we're talking about Apple's potentially new plans and what they're going to do
so excited.
after the iPhone. And then we're talking about Apple's driver's license feature.
Not so excited.
New rules, not really new rules, but more of demands from Russian government to tech companies.
Whatever.
And free games promoted on YouTube may not be all that free.
Yep.
Let's get into the show, shall we?
In the nose.
Okay, so first topic on the show is Apple reportedly to launch mixed reality headsets in 2022.
I'm excited.
Now, these are just rumors from a fairly reputable individual
Okay, I'm excited.
who has predicted a lot of positive things to be successful.
Okay.
From Apple. So what we're seeing here is apparently the headset will feature two processors, including one as powerful as the M1 chip found in the new MacBooks, and it would, in the processing power, would be free of the headset from the phone for computers or smart. So it'll be a self-contained environment, like kind of like
So you
an
can make
Apple
phone calls
Watch,
from it?
kind of like an Apple Watch, where you don't need the phone to be connected to that.
Yeah.
And then they also claim it would feature both AR and VR.
What's AR?
Augmented reality.
And what's VR?
So AR is virtual reality, is VR.
What's the difference?
So AR is basically what you see around you physically, what you actually see, but there's like tech pop-ups. That can pop up in your environment. Like if you are walking, you can have like an arrow pointing to directions where you need to go.
Oh, cool.
VR is a full virtual reality experience. So what you see is a virtual created world.
We're getting so close to the Terminator. Remember those glasses that you could win wherever you're looking at? But kind of cool. Like it's, everybody's in on this game now. Snapchat, their VR Spectacle 4, Facebook just announced their Ray-Bans. I hope they're as cool looking as the Ray-Bans.
Well,
because if they're not cool looking, it's going to fail. Right?
I mean, it is Apple, and Apple does tend to have some pretty sleek looking.
Because remember Google Glass.
Yeah. I think tech companies are kind of are worrisome of the Google Glass experience.
Yeah.
But I think as you're seeing things, Meta, Facebook doing the. You tapping?
Oh, sorry. You told me don't tap.
No, don't tap.
Don't tap. You can hear it.
Yes. Apple reportedly to launch. So what they're looking now, I lost my train of thought.
I said cool glasses, Google glasses. You don't want the Google glasses to, Google Glass, how it failed. But, Apple being who Apple is, I'm pretty sure whatever glasses they're developing, they're going to look cool.
Or even if they don't, I think people will buy them anyways because it's Apple.
As you know, I'm an Apple fanboy. Yeah. Right. I will. It'll be interesting to see what the price point comes in on these suckers. The other issue is what about for those of us that wear glasses? Like, are you going to be able to put prescription lenses in these glasses, right?
I'm sure that will be a part of the technology.
I mean, there's a whole nother revenue stream for them, right? Like, it'll be kind of cool. Like,
TVs now are paper thin. Well, not paper thin, but they're fairly thin, maybe like cardboard thin.
I mean, think about it. You're visiting a city, you don't know where you are. Well, you can program where you want to go. I want to go to Milo's restaurant, right? So as you're walking downtown, you got the arrows going where you are. You look, oh, there's the Met. Oh, what's in the Met? Oh, it'd be kind of cool, right? Kind of cool.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of discussions in the tech world around what's the next thing after smartphones, because I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, smartphones have been around for a fairly long time now.
They have,
and
and with everybody moving into the metaverse, this is kind of a dive into that too, right? It's
potentially a competitor to whatever Facebook Meta is looking to create.
Here we go. The two titans, right?
Exactly. So we'll see how this develops. Again, these are all rumors.
I wonder if they'll tint in the sun, if you can get them tinted lenses. But I'm excited.
I think we've seen in the tech world the last decade that definitely a lot of tech companies are working on this technology. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised that Apple is also having something ready. I
wonder how long will the battery last on them and all kinds of stuff. Like it'll be very interesting to see what there's been rumors of this for years now, right? About they're messing around with this. So it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. And it's again, you think about fighter pilots with their with their screens in front of them.
Yeah, but those are like those helmets are like how expensive are those?
I know.
Those are really expensive.
They're big bucks, right? Lock. It's be kind of cool.
You play an AR game with your friends and
Oh,
be fighter pilots, like,
I know.
running around a park.
It could be very interesting, right?
Speaking of Apple, Apple is delaying its driver license feature in select states. So as Apple announced last year, they were looking to launch their upload.
I was tapping again. Did you hear it?
Yes.
Sorry.
They was looking to have a feature to upload driver's licenses in selected states to your phone, where you will not need to have your physical license with you while driving.
Okay, this is one I don't agree with, and it's not, not necessarily from a privacy issue, although that is an issue. But here's the challenge. As you know, 30 years in law enforcement, right? I walk up to a car you're driving. The first thing I do is ask you for your driver's license and registration. I'm going to write you a ticket. So what do? I take your driver's license and registration. I go back to my car and I write the ticket. Well, if your driver's license is on your phone, you now have to give your phone to the law enforcement officer so that he can take it back and write the ticket. So you're actually giving your device to the officer to take back to the car.
Right. And
I don't think I want to be doing that.
there are features. I can't remember what it's called in Apple. I'll have to look back. But there is a feature where if you're giving your phone to somebody, you can lock so it's only on the screen or the app you're on.
Yeah.
Because Apple realized people who have your phone can go through your stuff.
Again, don't get me wrong. I think most law enforcement officers are honest. They're respectful, all that kind of stuff. But there's going to be a few in every job, including law enforcement. What's to stop them now from getting the device and plugging it into a reader and maybe potentially downloading other stuff off your phone? Like, I just don't think, personally, I want to be handing over my device to law enforcement or to anybody else with a 3-letter digit, FBI, CIA, whatever it is. I just don't think I want to be doing that unless they have a warrant, because I just don't want them to have access to my device. I still think giving them a copy or giving them the actual driver's license and the registration paper format is far safer. I just don't want to give my device to anybody in law enforcement. Again, I come from law enforcement. That was my background, right? And most are not going to do things to your phone that they shouldn't be doing. But again, what's to stop somebody from potentially putting some kind of a malware on your device, like a tracker that you don't know about? You just don't know.
Or if you don't set it up properly, now they're looking through all your messages.
Exactly. It's a bad idea. I understand why. I mean, they're moving credit cards on there. They're trying to make everything paperless, right? But again, I just don't want to be, with paperless, with credit cards, all I do is I put it up to a reader, right? I still have it in my hand. I can still see it. The problem with this is that the officer is going to want to take your phone and go back to the car to fill out the ticket.
Or if you're somebody and you think there's misconduct, you have your phone recording, you can't necessarily record on your phone if they're using your phone.
Exactly.
In order to
that's
do
a good thought.
Yeah.
That's a good one too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be different if the officer had a reader and all I did was tap the reader so that I can download my driver's license onto his reader.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I'd be okay with that.
Now the question is, do you have to make sure you turn on the reader?
I know.
But I mean, that's a feature that be put into the phone where you go, turn on NFC reader for the car.
Yeah.
And then that would actually make law enforcement's job easier because it would process it faster.
Yeah, it's to the point now, like when I was leaving policing, you could take a driver's license that you had, take it back to the car, and the back of the driver's license had a magnetic strip on it, right? You just go into the car into what's called the MDT, you just stripe it, and it downloads all the information directly into the ticket.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the officer could just have like a tab with them.
Yeah, maybe. But I just don't think I want to be handing this over, right?
Especially if that's your recording device, which you could use for then evidence if something's happening.
Yeah, I just don't want to be doing that. Just my thoughts. Just some thought. I think there's still too many hurdles to overcome. I understand why they're doing it. But personally, although I'm an Apple fan, I will not be taking advantage of this. If law enforcement wants my driver's license, here's my driver's license.
But what if you have both cards? Like, what if a situation where maybe you lose your wallet or you forget your wallet at home? Like in those cases, and then maybe you get pulled over for whatever reason, and in cases where sorry, officer, forgot my wallet at home. Well, now you have a potential backup.
Potentially.
So maybe you have both.
Yeah, I'm having both. But even the backup, let's say I forgot my real driver's license at home. Do I still want to give my phone to the officer to go back to his car? No, I don't.
But you're looking at, you forgot your phone, you forgot your wallet at home. You don't necessarily have to go back at home, like maybe at work, right? You forgot your driver's license at home. Maybe you don't have to go back. Is there a potential risk you could be pulled over from work going back home?
Yeah, the risk is if you don't have your driver's license, you're going to get a fine, right? Because you have to have your driver's license.
Yeah, well, this would prevent that.
It would, but to what?
For honest mistakes. Someone just forgetting their wallet, which happens.
But what about, again, having to give the phone over to the cop and go back to court?
I think that would be what you have to weigh is maybe you're late for work. You forgot your wallet at home. Do you go back home? Or do you just continue with your day with it on your phone?
I just think there's too many questions and too many hurdles yet. Like anything else that's new, let's wait and see what happens. Again, if the law enforcement officer has a reader where I just go tap, and now I can tap my driver's license onto their reader, then totally different, right? But I mean, actually handing over to my device so I can take it back to the car, not going to happen. And I'm a law-abiding citizen, right? Like I support law enforcement because I'm ex-law enforcement, but this is one that I don't support for privacy, security, and safety reasons. So.
Right. Like that story where an officer accidentally put their phone in the back of someone's truck. It was a city device, so they used it to track because they accidentally forgot the phone in the back. How do you leave your phone in the back of someone's? Yeah,
exactly.
So next story. Russia demands large tech companies to set up local offices by 2022.
There's one reason, right? They want to have access to the information, being the tyrants that they are, right? Like it's
so the country's telecom regulator has called on 13 foreign, mostly American companies to launch official Russian presence by 2022, so they can comply with the law that took effect on July 1st.
And what if they don't?
They could face money transfer blockages. Filtering, removal from the country, and and apparently they're called on Apple, Google, Meta, Facebook, Telegram, TikTok, and Twitter.
You know,
and it demands only for companies that have over 500,000 daily users. So not like every tech company, but
over how many?
500,000. 500,000 daily active users.
That's nothing to these big companies.
No,
right?
no,
like, that's peanuts. Like. I get it. Like Google and Apple are already doing with countries like China, right, and stuff. But, you know, the reason they want this to happen is because now it allows them to have access for the purposes of seeing what their citizens are. It's tracking, right? And so I'm a capitalist. Like that's just what I am. But for tyrants like this, for countries like this, that it's just I hope these big players say, okay, well, see you, Russia.
How's that different from Americans having the Patriot Act in order to access? Like, how's that different?
I know.
And we've seen violations and privacy issues with that.
I know.
So really, and this obviously Apple's going to, and all these other companies are going to go with this. Because Apple, for example, in the past, Apple removed the Taiwan flag from Apple users who were in Hong Kong. Yeah. They removed the flag. Apple Maps and weather. If you are in the Russian territory, in Apple Maps, it will show Crimea as part of the country. If you are outside of Russia, it shows Crimea separate, which that is a whole political issue in and of itself.
Yeah.
So,
you know, these are all things you just never thought about, you know, even 5 years ago with respect to some of the ebbs and flows and actions and reactions surrounding technology, right? Like
I've been talking about this for like a decade on how each country is going to have their own independent internet from each other.
Well, China's already done that, right? Like I watched a really good show on CNN last night. It was an hour dedicated to the rise of China and where they are today and how they've totally sandboxed themselves for the purposes of control, right? Like, and I think Russia's trying to do the same thing right now, right? Trying to insulate themselves. And I think the other reason they're doing that is because the new war is being fought in the cyber world, right? So if they can air gap themselves, it makes them less.
Russia's the middle ground. So right now, what they're doing is, they're publicly accessible, but their infrastructure is built in a way that if they were disconnected from the rest of the world, that they can still function.
Right.
China's a bit different because they're completely isolated through their sandbox. Russia's a bit of a midway point.
Yeah. I just, you know, I hope the big players, the big vendors, don't bow to their demands. But
Apple's done that twice, both with China and Russia.
Money talks. I get it.
Companies are beholden to their shareholders.
Yeah, that's the one downside.
Countries are beholden to their citizens.
It's all about money.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all about money. Money and religion, the two biggest things that cause wars in our world.
True.
Anyways, off my soapbox. Please tell me there's a...
next one.
Okay, this one's a better one. Kinda.
Free Steam games.
Free.
Video promising free content actually delivers malware. And this is nothing new, but but I think... I share this for if you have a younger sibling, or if you're a family leader, parent, or caregiver, on how viruses and scams are not solely distributed from emails.
Right.
But some people I still think believe it's just email messages.
Right.
Well, we are seeing scammy YouTube videos where someone's promoting, here, let me walk you through how to get this X game for free.
Yeah.
And it will always be a link in the description. You go to the link, you download a key or some sort of tool that gets you this game for free.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is obviously more younger folk are more susceptible to this.
Younger folk.
Are more likely to fall for this.
Yeah, for the
because
free
they
games.
may not necessarily,
especially younger ones, right?
Yeah, because they may not necessarily perceive a YouTube video as a mechanism for distributing a scam or a virus, which in fact they can.
Or it's a free game.
Exactly. And what we're seeing recently is we're looking at from Malware Bytes, they've seen increase in Skyrim Anniversary Edition, Forza 5, Halo Infinite, Myth of Empires, Battlefield 2042, which are the newest ones out, where they've seen a spike in scammy YouTube videos promoting free versions of that
So what's
game.
your recommendation here? Like only download games off of reputable gaming sites, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying, and I get this question a lot that I try to describe in my programs that I present to young students, is I'm not saying free games are bad, and that there's a lot of free games, and the market is wanting free games that are supported by ads or in-game purchases.
Right.
So there's a lot of free games out there that a lot of people, some of the best games right now are free. But as long as you're getting them from proper, right now we're looking at Apex is pretty big. The multiplayer for Halo Infinite is freely available.
So do they have in-gaming advertising and stuff that goes on? How are they making their money?
They're making the money through in-game purchases.
Gotcha.
So you can buy cosmetics and other features in the game to
Cosmetics, like stuff you put on your face?
Yeah, your character looks different.
Okay.
You personalize
On your character, not on you personally.
There's nothing stopping you.
That's true.
So we're seeing like games like that. So free games are fine, and they get a lot of user base because they're free.
Right.
But it's making sure you get them from proper places, be it Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam,
Right.
Epic Games, making sure you get your content from proper stores. And they're free on those stores, totally fine.
Right.
Elsewhere, you got to be very cautious.
All right.
And that's the show.
Excited about the Apple glasses. Not so excited about driver's license, the Apple driver. Not so excited about that yet. The Russia thing, not so excited. They just want to data mine it. That's the reason they're doing it, right?
Well, Russia already has, access to, citizens' data in terms of their surveillance. network.
Things you never really thought about. You do, but you don't until it comes to the forefront. And anyways, and then the last thing about games, good topic. So short and sweet, to the point. This show. So
Precisely.
I hope they enjoyed it. This week as well. So this show goes out tomorrow.
Sometime tomorrow, yeah.
So this week as well, just a reminder, everybody who's watching, we're doing our free parent event Thursday night, starting at, I think it was 6:30 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. That's Pacific Standard Time, where we're going to be talking about, for about 90 minutes, on issues surrounding disinformation, misinformation, hypersexualization, pornography, hate crime. We call it the darker side of the internet that we think parents should know about, right? Like, I like to say, like, the internet is usually really, really cool. It really is, right? However, it's not all sugar and spice and everything nice. As the nursery rhyme used to say, there's snips and snails and puppy dog tails. Well, we're going to be talking about the snips and snails and puppy dog tails that we think parents need to know about. So that's Thursday. It's free. It costs you nothing. So make sure you tune out. It's on our Facebook page. I think maybe you can put a link in the YouTube.
It'll be in the description.
A link and description to
It'll be a live event, so do attend live.
Yeah, it's live. It's not recorded. It's a live event, which is kind of cool because we'll take questions and stuff as well. So looking forward to that.
Alrighty. Sounds good. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.